Oh, say. Welcome to the Church of the Battenburgers. Welcome to the sermon. But it's interesting that there tends to be, we start with more on a Sunday than we do on a Wednesday. But you'll have to bear with me. I have taken some of the most awful, god-awful cough mixture just to try and stop me coughing. Hang on. Oh, nectar of the gods. We're going to start with a little something different. We'll do some introductions and the legendary Battenburgers, but I don't know whether you're aware of this. Can you see that? Something I released 20 odd years ago. It's called the Top Man Tapes, and oh, that's better. It's can you see that? It's a CD that I released 2001. 2001. And Rambo, one of the legendary Battenburgers, donated via the super chats and super stickers and said, "Here, Adrian, send me a copy of your Top Man tapes." So Rambo, if you're in the body of the Kirk, let's have a look. If you are here, then I will give you a message. Let's have a look. Let me know if you're in the chat, Rambo. So this is, I'll just kind of give you a bit of background. Can you see that? That way. Some of the headlines that we made in South Wales. That's my ugly fizzog, and we had somebody who came on and said he was a nonce, and basically the police had a word with him. He nearly ended up in jail. His missus absolutely gave him pelters. But something interesting before I go to your comments and the introductions. I was looking through, so that is kind of the inner sleeve part, and that is what you get inside the CD. I'll kind of leave it there if you can see it for a second or two, because I just want to mention a couple of things. You know, when I started this channel and I was getting absolutely attacked left, right and centre. You don't know Alex Belfield? You're copying him. Well, let me tell you, and I've only just realised tonight, I don't know whether you can see that. I may post it as a picture. I don't know whether you can see the very bottom line on that. You may have to pause this if you're replaying it. But it says, Alex, you know who that is, don't you? Alex, you will have your moment. Just be patient. He had to wait 20 years. So I actually gave Alex Belfield a name check in my copy of the Top Man tapes. 2001. Oh, and the other thing, just before, and people go, "Oh, you're just copying other people. You just..." Foxtrot Oscar, what does it say there? It says, "Oi, wrongin'. 20 odd years ago, I was doing that. So before anybody else has any ideas about, oh, he's just copying people, it's there in black and white for you to see. It says, oi, wrongin'. So I don't come on here to muck about. I don't come on here to have reflected glory from somebody else. I come on here to do my thing. I come on here to do as I've always done. And if you want, I can read that out. And I literally got these CDs out just so I could say to Rambo, if he's in tonight, yeah, I'll send you a copy. If anybody else wants a copy of the Top Man tapes, you are most welcome to inquire. A small donation, because obviously it's going to cost me to post it. But if you want a copy of the Top Man tapes, then just let me know via the email on this, and you can donate via the super chats. But YouTube take 30% of all the super likes and super chats. But I'm happy to send you a copy if you want. And if you want the digital copy, a .wav file, I can we transfer those to you if you so wish. So welcome to live number 63. The next live is going to be next Wednesday. We are going to do something for you on Sunday. It will be at 8 o'clock this coming Sunday. It's Mothering Sunday, and I am going to pay my respects to both my mum, who sadly is no longer here, but I will love eternally. Because you always know who your mum is. Don't always know who your dad is. Oh, Rambo! Good to have you in the house. Yes, please, Adrian. Loved it. Several hours of serious fun. You're wrong, and I hope it was on your own with the curtains drawn. If you find the email for this channel, Rambo, just email me, and then we'll privately. I'll get your address and I'll ping it off to you tomorrow. So try and do it tonight, and I'll get it posted to you tomorrow. So to the legendary Battenburgers, to Rich, who says, I do love a good old ranty bollocks. We may have one of those tonight. You never know. It just depends how I feel and how ranty I get. Rambo, Adrian, can I purchase an old copy of your Top Man tapes from Real Radio days? Yeah, of course you can, Rambo. Sorted all that out. And Robert Francis, super sticker. I'm not quite sure what to do with the super stickers because it's fairly new to me, but they're there for you. If you want a copy of the Top Man tapes, email, I'll get it to you. Like Rambo, straight away. So tonight, what we're going to talk about, let's say hello to a few people. Lauren Taylor, get 'em bloody told. Good on you. Thank you, Lauren. To Vivian Darlow, you're my wrong and Adrian. Love from Vivian Darlow. Thank you, Rambo. To the, Bovril, can you do us all a roast dinner then on Sunday? Do you think I am a cheap date, you're wrong? But, Bovril, no, I'm going for a... I'm going with the new Mrs. Allen for a game of canasta and, a bit of chat. Don't get me excited. It'll make me cough. To Dan Brugger, the final cut was a drum machine programmed the way I had played the drums in the song, so I felt a bit robbed by not having been. Dan, what are you talking about, man? Hang on. Dan Brooker says, man, I was just literally talking about the same thing 20 years ago. Records made and I didn't have my name on a track, even though it was me that influenced the track and played the drums. Oh, we're going to talk about the record industry tonight, Dan, because it's all gangster. Evening Boss says, Dan Brugger, Sean of the Battenberg. Hey up, Adrian. Hey up, Sean of the Battenberg. The Bad Wolf Project, Jelly Deals. Oh, you pervert. Sean of the Battenberg. Adrian, how's your bum for spots? Very clean, thank you very much. Massage regularly. That's married life for you. Sean of Battenberg, I've chosen to change my YouTube name in honour of the channel. You do know the story, don't you? I had a couple of friends over yesterday, and we were just having a chat, and quite close friends, and the missus says, it's in my mates, missus says, what does Battenberg mean? My mate coughed. I looked away, and he said, you better tell her, not me. we managed to avoid that one. If you don't know, I'm actually going to do a video about it. I am speaking with a friend to get some ultra fine detail to make it an even better story, because it is a cracker. The hibiscus stops the cough. Andrew James, Adrian, don't forget to polish and wax your very big organ before you go live. I've given it a quick polish. In fact, I was going to do an impersonation this evening. I thought about doing psychic Battenberger, and then I thought, do I do police Battenberger? Because if I do police Battenberger, I could take me Bobby's helmet out and give that a good polish and leave it on show for the camera. So if you ever want to see me Bobby's helmet, it'll cost you. Andrew James still going. Heard rumours that wrestling tycoon Vince McMahon might go into hiding abroad. Well, you know Vince McMahon is a Battenberger. You do know he likes the Battenberg, don't you? Stop making me laugh, man. I'm not winding you up. I am not. Vince McMahon's into the Battenberg. Oh, Lordy, if only I could tell you. Because honestly, they'll take me off, they'll ban me off here, man, if I start going too much. Oh, this hibiscus is particularly tasty this evening. To Rusty Mouse, the Right Honourable Reverend is about to appear. Applaud ye parishioners of the Kirk. We await, Rusty Mouse, you're always too kind. So, tonight, we're going to talk about Big Brother, fam. We're going to talk about North Face race. Oh dear. Bud Light, methinks. To Vegas Sphericals. The Ginger in 2012. Who'd want to see these? Yeah, quite. Ukraine peace deal. We've had confirmation. What I told you last Wednesday about what Russia was after and what the whole conflict in Ukraine was about has actually been confirmed. So we'll tell you that later. We'll talk about another with Chancellor Hunt. I said that very carefully. I enunciated it very carefully. But Chancellor Hunt, we'll talk about the utter rollicks. Trump 47, it's on its way. And Talk TV and GB News. Ooh, the fallout. Oh, it's all kicking off. Maybe I should go and work for them and actually bring them an audience. So I just want to... we've said hello to the legendary Battenbergers. Thank you as ever. Just want to tell you, as I keep telling you, Rich boy Sunak, I trust that boy as far as I can spit him. And that's quite far, further than his height, because he's only cock height. Now, Rich boy's father-in-law, his company, Infosys, which I keep mentioning here, has been given a £35 billion in a contract, in an up to 5-year contract for the NHS computer system. So have a guess where your taxes are going. Exactly, keeping it in the family. So Infosys are getting a 35. Josh Ward, Adrian, I've got a question for you. If a series offer was made from GB News, would you accept? Josh, depends on the terms. Always the terms. But I'd consider it. Oh, can you imagine? Have you ever seen the film Network? Go and have a look at it. Peter... Oh, man. The main character. So, I'll let you into a little secret. When I started my late-night radio career in 1989, it's not Peter Falk. Who's the star of the film Network? You see, I normally can rely on you. I can normally rely on you to give me the answer in like a millisecond. Love that. Andrew James, love that movie. Excellent satire. Alex in 5 ways. Good to have you back. I know you've been away. Were you transferred as a vulnerable prisoner? Peter Finch. Andrew, thank you. That. So Peter Finch did this film called Network. And in 1989, I went on air and said, I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. Now, 1989, that was pretty controversial. That was, I mean, it was right out there. And that's kind of, I took that as an influence, along with James Stanage and James Whale and Alan Robson and various other late nights. So I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. So I just took that and added it to tools in my box. And there's people, I saw somebody trying to replicate that a couple of years ago. And I was like, oh, Mia, Foxtrot Oscar, man, you're 30 years too late. So, Rich Boy Sunk, his father-in-law, now he's obviously trying to keep well in with the missus. Wonder why. Maybe she can suck a melon through a hosepipe. I don't know. But he's trying to keep in with his father-in-law. Marie, stop it. And Stuart says, oh, but Jesus, Adrian, thanks for making me jump, you wrongin'. You're most welcome. So, we'll, apart from Rishi having Trotter Cameron do all these dodgy deals, Dodgy Dave, he's everywhere. He's in Ukraine, he's in Middle East, he's in America, he's everywhere doing dodgy bloody deals. We'll get to Rich Boy because I do believe we, hang on, what's that? Andy Turner. A lot of Battenberg, and he would jump at the chance Adrian has a face for radio only. Andy, you're too kind. So, it's day 2 in the Big Brother house, and it's not quite kicking off, but the shite's starting to fling, so to speak, like in a faux Geordie accent. And I'm not a Geordie before you start. So, let's have a look at. And Cameron's also at Sainsbury's on a Saturday. He's doing a collection. Peter Finch, Faye Dunaway and William Holden. Lauren, thank you for that. What a great movie, though. It's one of those, because we get all this woke stuff. I mean, it turns me into Sweary Mary, and I get told off by some of my friends. Adrian, yeah, all that Sweary Mary stuff, man, you pack it in, you're wrong. Sean of Battenberg, big broken SMD. I get it. 2 hands. And it just makes me want to kind of holler, because it's there are some great movies that they should show on telly. I mean, I don't watch telly. I literally do not watch it. I'll maybe watch it on catch-up, but apart from that, no, I never watch telly live. I mean, what's on? Look what they've done to Doctor Who. I mean, look what they've done to Doctor Who. Look at the BBC. Go woke, go broke. But we've got BBC coming tonight, because I am going to give you my opinion on what's happening. Like, man, Hinny. So, Louis Welsh. Boy, has he got his talons out. What an utter biatch. So, Louis Welsh. It's day 2 in the Big Brother household, and Louis is the resident biatch. All that fakery. I mean, all that fake tan. And honestly, maybe I'm just old-fashioned, but I'm watching it, and there's all this colour, and I'm thinking, holy Jesus, I better get me binoculars on. It's like, what is going on there? I look like a pervert when I wear them. What's going on there? What's Louis up to? And and so I had these on, trying to catch up with what was going on in Big Brother, and going, oh yes, quite nice colours, yes, good branding, yes. Oh my Lord! Look at bloody Sharon Osbourne. Holy Jesus. How many facelifts has she had? Oh, that's definitely a Zempic. Honestly, they shouldn't get the camera too close to Sharon Osbourne. Well, she might be worth a couple of 100 million, but it put me right off me Battenberg last night. That was just not on. So all the fakeries on show from the multi-millionaire. So you've got Sharon Osbourne, multi-millionaire. You've got Louis Walsh, multi-millionaire. You've got Levi Roots. What a dirty tart. What a dirty tart. Levi Roots. Never mind Levi Roots. Levi permanent erection. He's got 8 kids from 7 women. Does he ever stop? Where did he ever find time to make his Levi Roots sass? The line of the night for me from episode 2 of the Big Brother house. And why do I always hear Davina McCall in my ears? Big Brother, we are live. Do not swear, you dirty tarts. The line of the night last night was, Prince Harry, he wouldn't make my pub quiz team. Oh, I mean, it took me ages to stop laughing. Arthur Askey, Wiggy, what are you saying? Arthur Askey. BB is boring. Start. Don't know most of them. Marie, me neither. I mean, there's like this. I mean, I could turn into Louis Walsh. The age, the older you get, the more kind of grumpy you get. And I'm listening to Louis Walsh, and I'm going, oh, Louis, go on, man, just tell the truth. Stop mucking about like Ekin who and that VPL. I mean, how are lasses? But you're on like national telly. Please. And Gary, you know Gary that's gone in, Gary in a white suit, Gary. He's a bungle. That's not Bungle, not the ginger bear from Rainbow. No, he's a bungle. What's a bungle, Adrian? Bad uncle. Ooh, bad Santa, bad uncle. Oh, if only it'll all kick off. And now they're all being polite. They are being polite. But, you know, in like wrestling, we've had a Vince McMahon quote a little earlier. And we know that Vince McMahon's into the Battenberg. It was Lauren Taylor. I like Sharon Osbourne, however, she looks like a waxwork dummy. Ooh, Lauren, I don't even think she looks that good. I mean, if you get too close to her, just put her on top of the mantelpiece. She's small enough and it'll keep the kids away from the fire. She might melt, but it'll keep the kids away from the fire. And I do like Sharon because Sharon's married to the Prince of Darkness. And I was told a story by an A&R guy in a record company. I'm not going to say who. I'm just going to let you know that it was somebody that was right there in the meeting. They were having this meeting at the record company, and she was doing all the pet names, the wobble wobble, and love you, and Ozzy turns around and goes, "Oh, for crying out loud, woman! I'm the bloody Prince of Darkness. Will you stop with all that lovey-dovey shite?" But Sharon is a very, very, very clever puppy. Very clever. That's why she makes it on the national TV. That's why she was one of the original reality TV stars, because she's super, super sharp. Her dad was even sharper. But I've got a lot of time for Sharon, but leave the work alone, Shaz. It's not great. So I'm looking forward to them starving. Now, I know they're supposedly celebrities, some of them, and starve them for 3 or 4 days, and then just throw alcohol at them, give them loads of alcohol. Get them, in the words of the great Chinese philosopher, shitted. So get them in the alcohol, man, and then all of a sudden, loose lips sink ships. Or in royalty circles, I didn't say it, Your Honour. We have the tapes. Gary the Bungle. Hayden says, Adrian, Angela Rayner mocked by Jeremy Hunt. You mean Chancellor Hunt? The chunt. And had the Tories in hysterics with council flat scandal swipe. I saw it. I watched it as best I could today because I'm quite tired. But he was fairly good with old Jeremy. Let's get back to that Big Brother household. No, Marie. Where did you read that? Sharon has left, I read. Louis Walsh, can you imagine? Oh, he would be as camp as a row of tents. It just would. I mean, he's very sharp as Louis, and you can't manage. Josh Ward, Adrian, how likely do you think a May general election is? I told you 6 months ago it was going to be a May general election, probably the first week, could be the last week. I'm trying to, Hayden. Honestly, I've got the drugs. There's it. I've got the drugs, but it doesn't seem to work when the adrenaline kicks in. It says for chesty coughs. Where's Mrs. Allen when you need her? What was I saying? You've completely thrown me now. Louis Walsh. You can't operate within the record industry unless you're super sharp and super tough. Now, you might come across as, Rhea Gunner. So, Louis is as hard as nails. Hang on, Marie. My daughter told me, so I Googled it. So did Google tell you? I mean, Google rule the world. So did Google tell you that she'd left? Nah, 24 hours. She's got her own bedroom. Behave. Mind you, I'm waiting for Fern, Tree, Britain. I'm waiting for her to kick off. Will you just bear with me, because you're mucking up my script, man. So Fern Britain's gone in. Because that Fern, is it Fern Britain, Fern Cotton, Fern Tree? So you know what I would do if I was like really naughty? If I was producing Big Brother, what I would do is I'd get Fern to talk. Tell us about Scoff, Fern. Tell us what he did, what he didn't do, all the stuff that you can tell us without being sued. All right, Rambo. Catch you later. Oh, right. Kathy says she hasn't left. She's only doing 5 days. What a slagger. So she's doing, how long? She's getting 100 grand a day. She's getting half a mil. I know that ITV have got a £15 million budget for this. 15 million. That's what it's been sponsored to. It's getting great reportage in the dailies, plenty in the dailies. But I genuinely, I'd keep Scove quiet, put him in a hotel somewhere, get him to tend some chickens or something, and then get Fern to, and then just one day, when they're all a bit bored and a bit squiffy, I'd put Scove in for 24 or 48 hours. Give him a whole load of money. Put him in and watch Fern's face. I would pay top dollar. It's a bit like, what was Sly Stallone's Bridget Nielsen? Bridget Nielsen. Remember when Bridget Nielsen was in Celeb Big Brother and they brought the mother-in-law in and she walked in? I mean, the mother-in-law had a face like she'd been too near the radiators and the wax had started to melt. And Bridget Nielsen was like, Jackie! And Jackie Stallone went in and go, yeah. Sounding like just like Sly. Yeah, Jackie. Yeah, Jackie. I mean, that's kind of iconic TV moments. I would love Fern to kind of give it that for a couple of days and then Scove to walk in. Oh, can you imagine? The whole country will be talking about it. So it's day 2 in the Big Brother household. The brown stuff hasn't started flying yet, but it might do if Louis Walsh has his way. Just kowtowing to Sharon. Yeah, Jackie's still on. Yeah, Jackie. So you can see Louis. I am going to get to the record company stuff, which will sort of dovetail with this particular part in a moment. But Louis Walsh being really bitchy about the people coming in. And then when he meets them going, oh, yeah, it was Sharon. Oh. Now, these two, Louis and Sharon, are going to be a great double act because they're ruthless. The pair of them, these reality stars, have absolutely got nothing on these two. These two have been to the top of the mountain managing artists, which is doubly difficult than being an artiste because you've just got to keep the money away from them. And just give them drugs. And they are ruthless. You have to be when you're managing the Prince of Darkness. So we'll see what comes along with Big Brother on day 3 and day 4, and see how long Marcus Bentley can keep going as a Geordie like. Have you seen this story today? Oh, sorry. Did you see the Michael Gambon story? Now, I'm loving. There was a story a day or two ago where a granddad left about $500,000 and he gave it to his kids. But his grandkids, who didn't go and see him, he left them 50 quid each. How wonderful is that? Because they just kind of cut him off at the knees, never went to see him, and he was like, all right, stuff you. I'm just going to leave you 50 quid. Go and have a beer on me. Everybody else, you can have me money. $500,000. Split between 3. And there's proper kick-off in the family. Proper. Now, there's Michael Gambon. I told you about seeing Michael Gambon once in Barnes in London. He had a mistress of 20 years. Dirty old tart. Michael Gambon, you wouldn't have thought, would you? Mistress of 20 years. 2 kids by her. And he left his $1.5 million fortune to the wife. Hasn't left the mistress a penny. I mean, it's like a comedy routine. How ruthless do you have to be to kind of dance with somebody for 20 years, have 2 kids with them, and then when you pop off, leave all the money to the missus? Not a penny to the mistress, only to the wife. I mean, I don't know. It's not something that I would do. Have a mistress for a kick-off and then have 2 kids by a mistress, 20 years, and then shuffle off and then leave it all to the wife. Mind you, the wife might have been long-suffering. worth $1.5 million, though, in his will. It wasn't probate, it was a will. Let's get to this North Face debacle, because I want to get on to what's been going on in the House of Commons today, which is just, I mean, it's a comedy routine. It's not a comedy routine. And I'm going to give you some, what I'm hearing from my sources and tell you what's going on and what's about to happen. And as I say, I gave you the truth about Ukraine about a week ago, and there's more stuff coming out. So let's talk about North Face race. Because seemingly the countryside's racist. Seemingly, to be able to go walking in the countryside is white privilege. Who made that up? I mean, it's like they're idiots. These people that make this stuff up are idiots. They're not real people. They're people that have had their brains removed, sucked out of their nose, and they're trying to vindicate themselves and justify their position, and they're going woke. Now, we know what happened with Bud Light. Bud Light's never going to recover. Never. They've tried associating it with MMA, with the UFC, and people are just laughing. How do we end shite, man? Or Foxtrot Oscar, if you wish. So, I do believe that North Face are stupid. Where was I? Was I abroad? Yeah, I was in Switzerland. I was in Davos. And we just took a walk into one of these shops, and it was a North Face shop. Jesus H, have you seen the price of the stuff? Now, Switzerland is expensive as it is, but I've been in North Face shops here. Yes, the UFC is part of the WWE. They've amalgamated, Andrew. Maybe that's why Vince McMahon's disappeared with his Battenberg. So I went into this shop just to kind of go, oh, I fancy a bit of North Face. Went in there, saw the prices, laughed and left. So these people are stupid. Go woke, go broke. So seemingly, the countryside's racist. I would have said it was green. More than racist. But you'll get 20% off, which still means you've got to sell an arm and a leg to buy a jacket. But if you'll get 20% off if you complete a racial inclusion course. Now, I've looked at some of the questions, and they're just arses. Utter arses. So it's an hour-long quiz that you have to do. And the programme urges you, if you're taking part, to make formal complaints to, I think it's the staff in North Face, or you yourself, to make formal complaints to your boss or bosses if colleagues brand them woke. Go woke, go broke. Go with Bud Light. And what was that? Was it Wicks who closed down when they went woke? Now, are they saying that their customers are racist? Because most of their customers are pink, like me. I don't subscribe to colour. Because what I do subscribe to is if there's a boot on your neck that says it's the government, you've still got a boot on your neck. Doesn't matter whether it's sky blue, pink or yellow dots on. Whether they say they're Tories, we're blue. Whether they are Labour and, we're red. And then who's yellow? Lib Dems? Greens? Oh, lovely colours. Sky blue, pink with yellow dots on. It's still a boot on your neck. And it's boiling everybody's pish, to use a very good Scottish word. It's not the way to gain brand loyalty. So it will be very interesting. Benetton, colours of Benetton, yeah, of course. I'm very interested in waiting to see how this plays out over the next month or two. I remember, I've told you this before, my forefathers worked down the pits. My forefathers went on the cobbles to take all comers. If you know what I'm talking about. Bare knuckle, on the cobbles, taking all comers, anybody, for an halfpenny or a penny, just to make enough money to feed his 9 kids. So this utter wokery is ludicrous, because the humankind, the human community, has always struggled. And they turn around and say it's white privilege. My hairy backside. And you know all these people that go, oh, reparation for slaves. The Dutch were some of the biggest slave traders in the world. They're white. The slaves that they took to the Americas were white. Try and find a copy of a book called White Cargo, because there was every hue of human being as slaves traded to the Americas. It wasn't just Africa. It wasn't just anywhere. It was any colour, any man, anybody that they could just get onto a boat and get them sailed across to the Americas. The Dutch were just as bad. This reparation from the royal family and from the Catholic Church. Look, the Catholic Church is in enough, or whichever church, is in enough doo-doo, because, A, how do you think the Nazis got out of Germany via Europe into South America? The Catholic Church via Italy and Rome. The Catholic Church got the Nazis out of Germany. How do you think that all these kids that have been abused by the Catholic Church, that should bankrupt North American Catholicism? Has it yet? Everybody's like, ooh, they'll have a few bob, we'll get into them. And you know who makes the money, don't you? It's not the victims. It's not reparation for the families of the victims. It's the bloody lawyers and barristers, man. They're filth. I wouldn't trust anybody from the legal profession as far as I can split them. Oh, just saying, for a friend. Hayden. Declaration of Biological Realities. James Essex shares the experience of a disgruntled Pets at Home employee who claimed that trans ideologies were pushed on them. I know, it's mad, but it's just that so they'll use colour, they'll use religion, they'll use the class system, as was mentioned today in Parliament. So they'll use every which way to divert us from the truth. They will use every which way from making sure that we are not a cohesive unit. We're not a community. We're not a family. We are all divided. Divide and rule and conquer. Just keep that in the back of your head, because that's what they're at. So, divide and rule. Chancellor Hunt stands up today, and we haven't heard, until I told you, 35 billion for an NHS IT system for Infosys. Look at Rwanda. Have a guess who's got an office in Rwanda? Infosys. Have a guess who's making shed loads from oil exploration in the North Sea? Infosys. So don't let them fool you. I've told you before, they are merely snake oil sellers. Let's get on to old ginger sphericals. So seemingly some where have I put it? Some tart in America. Sorry, I'll show you the front of the scum. So she's going to be a millionairess by this time next week. So she reckons she was in the suite with Harry. Now, I have got some of the photographs of Harry in that suite somewhere, because I've told you before, if you blew up that boy's nostril, he'd go off like a referee's whistle. He's so dim. And he went up to, I think he just wanted to be loved, bless him, all the way through. He knew he was the spare. He knew his place. He tried to assassinate William with a golf club when they were both very, very young. And he's always been insanely jealous, and he just wanted to be loved. So he goes into a suite at the Wynn Hotel in Vegas, and there's obviously loads of strippers going on. Well, not going on. They didn't have anything on. But he was there having a party, and this tart says, "Oh yeah, he was intoxicated." I mean, intoxicated. What kind of a word's that? As the great Chinese philosopher said, "Boy was shitted." So she's doing an OnlyFans, and I'm surprised that the Sun hasn't actually given the address of the OnlyFans. No, I'm surprised. Just yes, I'll tell all the stories and I'll show all the pictures. Of course, you just subscribe to my OnlyFans and I'll make $1 million. Fabulous, fabulous. I mean, Dan Brooker, assassinate must have been psychosis. Seeing Harry naked, absolutely not very pleasant at all. But he was just there, just party boy, trying to get it on. If he did, at least the girl that took his virginity in behind that pub. Oh, classy, Harry, classy. She came out and went, "Whoa, it's me. Hang on, it's me." And yeah, it's fine. Yeah, we were just horsey people. Chris, exactly. He's no light lunth. So the first question that comes out into my mind, and it's not the greatest intellect, but why she waited 10 years? I mean, I know OnlyFans, the phenomena, has only been going a couple of years or so, made some people very, very rich. Not Katie Price, obviously. We've all seen it before, so what would we want to see it again for? But why she waited 10 years to bring this out? I mean, I remember Monica Lewinsky. That was a crusty dress. Why would you keep a crusty dress? So why? This is the same woman that held Harry's boxes up. He must have been proper buckled to forget where his boxes were. Now either sleep there and leave, or his security men have dragged him off. Stark bollock. But I also thought when he was doing it, why didn't his security people just collect all the phones before they went into the orgy? I mean, nobody was thinking that night, were they? Upstairs for thinking, downstairs for dancing. They weren't thinking that night at all. And who wants to see sphericals? I mean, no. I mean, maybe there's some royal fans that just want to see it. I mean, there was photos of the king went out on. He wasn't the king at the time. The prince went next to night on. There was photographs of Diana and Fergie, and they're all in certain circles, in polite conversation, at certain cocktail parties. They were all floating about. Yeah, Rusty Mouse, they love keeping secrets. Except this mucky tart is not keeping any secrets. She's gonna just the whole lot because she wants to make a few bob. So let's get on to Chancellor Hunt. So Chancellor Hunt, that is Cockney rhyming slang. Chunt. You know he's Westminster, don't you? Because remember, in February, just right in the beginning of February, Jeremy Hunt had his picture with the Swiss background, Davos background, and he was saying, "Oh yes, I went to WEF, the World Economic Forum. Yes, I was there." Now, let me tell you, those that were there don't need to tell you they were there. Those that tell you they were there are desperate to get onto the top table. So, young Jeremy, no, his brother Mike, young Jeremy had to tell you he was there in Davos. Nah, he's not on the top table. Although he did give a fairly good... Jeremy Hunt looks like Mr. Bean. My God. So today they were saying in the newspapers, and I kept the Sun open at a particular page for a reason, because when I get to it, Yes. So before I watched the Chancellor Hunt, before I watched his speech today in Parliament, can you see that? Those, according to The Sun, were some of the things that he was going to talk about today and he was going to implement. And absolutely every single one The Sun got right. How does that happen? How did The Sun know he was going to say every single thing that is on that page? Now, I've got some fairly good sources, but my sources couldn't tell me what was in the Chancellor's speech today. Where did The Sun get it from? Unless it was leaked. Somebody leaked it. So now we know they want everybody to vape. Not smoke cigarettes. Cigarettes are bad for you. So's vaping. I mean, anybody heard of popcorn lung? That's from vaping, not from smoking. So they're saying that we want people to vape. People use vaping to get away from cigarettes. Yeah, tobacco, sacred plant. It is in the Amazonian jungle. They smoke completely different cigarettes in the jungle. And I don't mean wacky-backy. I mean, they do smoke a particular tobacco. But the good news is, if you like to get squiffy, alcohol duty is frozen again. Far too good to us. Aperitif good for vaccines. What's that? Dan Brooker. Oh, yes. They've reduced the national insurance. Oh, they're far too kind to us. I mean, I can guarantee you that what they're giving with one hand, they're taking with the other. They're not going to give you money back. They want money in their pockets, not yours. That's the game of politics. It's all corrupt. So they've reduced national insurance from 10% to 8%, the lowest personal tax rate since 1975. You know what happened in 1975, don't you? Labour were in power. And then Maggie had to come back in 1979 and rescue us. I'm not saying she was any good. Child benefit thresholds increased from 50 to 60 grand. So in a way, people with so many kids are going to be a little bit better off. They're talking about hundreds and hundreds of pounds per year. Bless. Keir Starmer. Oh, yeah. Even though Jeremy Hunt, Chancellor Hunt, mentioned Angela Rayner in his speech and took the mickey out of her, do you know who Peter Mandelson is? Yeah, he's kind of the Machiavellian of Westminster, Count Machiavelli. And he's also in Jeffrey Epstein's little black book, a couple of numbers for Peter Mandelson. And Keir Starmer met with Peter Mandelson a couple of days ago. So I've said to you in a previous video, you vote for Keir Starmer, who do you get? Tony Blair. Who was Peter Mandelson? He was Tony Blair's fixer. So it scares me. Yeah, the prince, exactly. It scares me that Peter Mandelson is back in the corridors of power with Keir Starmer. I will ask you again. Does Keir Starmer scare you yet? They're letting it all out. Or unless Chancellor Hunt made that little faux pas on purpose. But he said, public sector, well, they're going to have to be more efficient. There's productivity plans. How can you have productivity plans for the NHS or the policing or the fire brigade? Is it like, well, you've got to start your own fires and you've got to see how quick you can put them out? I mean, how can you, do you go to the police and say, you're not solving enough crime, so if you solve more crime, we'll give you more money? Just put the crooks, oh, mind you, just put the crooks in charge. Mind you, wasn't that the plan for G4S until they screwed up the Olympics? Theresa May. Gaggle of goblins. Chip Atkinson, I'm not quite sure what you're saying there. I better... Oh, yeah, so, like Birmingham Council. I think it was Bovril said less subsidies given to councils, so the councils have to. Birmingham Council have made such a mock-up of their spending that they're having to increase the council tax by 21%. Now, how can these idiots run something into debt, negative equity, and then just charge the cash cows, that's me and you, just charge the cash cows more money? How exactly does that work? Now, 1,000 years ago, Wat Tyler would have had them strung up on the nearest tree. Because you can't just go, oh no, we're diversity, equality, and DEI. We're just going to have, inclusivity. We're going to go woke. No, you're bloody not. You're spending our money. You thieving bar stewards. Now, if it's debt that we get into, don't ask us for the money. You put it in, because with any company, if it goes tits up, it's the directors of the company that get it. These idiots that run councils, ordinarily Labour councils, so you know what's coming. Look, we know how this all works. We know that they get a budget for the potholes and the roadworks, and they take that money and put it into something else, because they're driving the whole councils, not just Birmingham City Council, but other councils around the country, around the UK, England and Wales. They just rob Peter to pay Paul. And then me and you drive around on third world roads. I mean, if you look at it, there are better roads in the middle of the jungle in Africa. Less potholes, more dangerous animals. Mind you, I've been to Birmingham. I worked there for once or twice for a year. Buzz FM. When was that? 1991. So the councils, there have to be checks and balances, and there has to be responsibility. So unless they've got responsibility, they can get away with anything. They can get away with putting they put expenses in, don't you? Certain councils, it might have even been Birmingham, I'm not sure. It might have been somewhere up north. But some of the councillors were living in the Bahamas and coming back for the odd meeting, because the expenses that they were claiming from the councils was paying for their stay in the Bahamas. They were living out in the Bahamas. How does that work? Because it's corrupt. It's all corrupt. The whole political system is corrupt. The politicians are all corrupt. Birmingham City Council. Oh, we're going to put the council tax up 21% because we've gubbed up. Sorry about that, but just give us your money. And then they'll gub up with the inflated 21% in their budget, and then they'll still gub up. I mean, Birmingham's a fabulous place. I stayed in a hotel while I was working in Birmingham. The best part of the year, I stayed in a hotel on the Hagley Road, the Strathallan Hotel. Loved it. And loved Birmingham, loved the vibe, loved everything about it, loved the music, just loved it. I was in the jewellery quarter. Buzz FM was in the jewellery quarter. So they can just do this with impunity. Nobody ever says to them, hang on a second, let's have a look at this. There's no checks and balances. Nobody says, let's have a look at the budget. Let's have a look at the balance sheet. Let's have a look at what you've done with the budgets. Because everybody then ducks and scrambles back under the rocks. They don't want to get caught out with that. Thieving bar stewards. At least Dick Turpin had the decency to wear a mask. And then Chancellor Hunt was talking about the lovies getting a 45% tax relief on touring creatives. How does that work then? Now, Starmer, when he stood up, said, May 2nd general election, we're ready, Labour Party's ready. I said to you May 2nd, 6 months ago. I said to you, and I'll find the video for you, because it's still on here as an historical document. Told you it was going to be May 2nd, and it was going to be a hung parliament, and it was going to be all kind of shenanigans and deals going on. Starmer's confirmed it today, May 2nd. But I mean, my sources were impeccable. And I start doubting myself the closer I get to it. The OBR scrutinises the budget. Thanks, Rich. But we know it. Look, they can have as many inquiries as they want. They can have OBR, SBR, NEBR they want, or EBS they want. That can all be managed. That can all be manipulated. It can all be creatively accounted for. All of it. Because the public don't look. The public go, ugh, numbers. No, I'm bored. When's Big Brother back on? Nobody pays the blindest bit of notice to a balance sheet. So Starmer's kind of confirmed May 2nd for a general election, but it won't be May 2nd general election because they have to give 30 days notice, don't they? So where are we? March 5th or 6th? So we're March 6th. Where are we? Oh, it would have to be announced tomorrow. 30 days from tomorrow. So if it's not announced tomorrow, it's not going to be May 2nd, but they've got till the end of March to announce a May general election. But I will say this, that if you're looking for an electoral, strategic, or campaign logic from the Tory party, there isn't one. There isn't one. Sunak gave up long ago. He's done all of his deals. He doesn't care now. He's got Trotter Cameron running around the world trying to do dodgy deals for our arms and armaments, whether it's Ukraine or the Middle East. Remember, there are 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council: China, Russia, UK, France, and America. Who were the first into the Middle East to talk with Israel? America, UK, France were third. China and Russia were never going to speak to the Israelis. They were never going to talk to them. So 3 members of the 5 permanent members of the UN Council were straight into the Middle East. If you look at Ukraine, Russia's saying that they don't want Ukraine as a full member of NATO. So that's what it's all about. So if you're looking for some kind of, I don't know, electoral, strategic or campaign logic, there isn't one. Sunak's given up. I believe that if enough MPs put enough letters in for a vote, he'll resign. He doesn't care. He'll resign immediately. He'll jump on a plane and he'll be back over to Californication to his non-dom status. He doesn't care. Does he need a lordship? Does he need a life peerage? They're billionaires, man. The family. He's got all the deals going. So long as all the deals are signed, and these are tens of billions of pounds of deals that he's done for Infosys. Well, no, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. No. He's got deniability. It's his wife's family's company. It's not Rishi Sunak. They'll have gone through the process and Infosys will have done the deal. But remember, politicians and or royal family, they always need deniability. If they've got deniability, the British government, and I had some comments around the SAS on the streets of Northern Ireland. And some people have gone, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I think you'll find I do. And they go, oh, the SAS were on the streets of Northern Ireland in the 90s. They weren't in the 60s or the 70s because the government had deniability. The IRA was screaming like stuck pigs going, you've got special forces on the streets of Northern Ireland. And the government went, no, we haven't. No, we haven't. And the IRA went, yes, you have. Yes, you have. And the government said, no, we haven't. We've got deniability. We haven't put the SAS. We haven't put the regiment on the streets of Northern Ireland. Because those special forces that were put on the streets of Northern Ireland were never badged the SAS. They were never badged. Deniability. It's simple and subtle, but they were never badged. Now, I watched a documentary on the BBC that's just popped up about Wiz and Fru and some of the other organisations that were on the streets of Northern Ireland in the Troubles. And I mean, at the height of the Troubles, late 60s, early 70s to late 70s. But these people are like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I think you'll find I do. And I know the government needed deniability at that time, and they had deniability. Terry Uckford, close but no cigar. Should we use numbers, Terry? Should we use 1-4? Maybe that's another conversation for another night. And yeah, correct. Terry, I think we'll have that conversation away from here, because I know more than I'm letting on, which is always the way when I'm doing this. I've been doing this for 40 years, so I kind of know a lot, and I've spoken to a lot, but would love a conversation with you, because I think you know what I'm talking about. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, I told you that Israel and Hamas were in Cairo negotiating a peace deal that would start on the 11th of March. Sleepy Joe, you know, the one with a bit of Colombian on his cornflakes. I can't wait for the November presidential face-offs. Because can you imagine Sleepy Joe? He's good for 30 seconds. Ask Jill. He's good for 30 seconds. And then he just starts talking gibberish. They're never going to allow him on TV. They're never going to allow him to take on Donald Trump. But Sniffy Joe last week was, there'll be peace from March 4th. And everybody's like, what's he talking about? Yeah, everybody, we'll have peace. We'll have a 6-week peace pause in Gaza. And everybody's like, yeah, get him off the telly. Get him off. Just send him to bed or something. He's letting too much out. I said the 11th. So let's see what happens over the next couple of days. Bob Carroll, so remember, I told you. Now, this is not a case of me wanting to be right. I just, with these lives, that's why I can't monetize them, because I talk about stuff that I want you to keep an eye on. It's not for me to tell you things. It's for you to work out. There's a lot of sharp people on this channel and view these lives. So it's for you to work out. And what I'm saying to you is that there is a peace negotiation, same as there were peace negotiations going on right at the very start of the Middle East conflict in Switzerland. I told you that right at the very beginning. And then there was these pauses while they got some of their people out, some of the hostages out. I told you that was happening. But I can't always give you everything that I know, because some of the sources are very sensitive. But I said to you a couple of weeks ago that there was going to be a peace pause from the 11th of March. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'd rather, what's the old saying? I'd rather travel in hope than arrive disappointed. So I just wanted to tell you that. Let's get on to, well, I'm going to mention Mother's Day and Claudia Winkleman, because I want the ladies in the parish this evening to kind of give me a steer. But first we'll talk about the Trump juggernaut. I mean, they've tried every which way to stop this man. If they just let him, because I don't know why Sniffy Joe is worried, because he got 81 million votes last time. He'll surely get 100 or 500 million, trillion, billion votes. Next time, there'll all be postal votes, of course. But if he got 81 million votes last time, what are they worried about? So Trump, the juggernaut, they've tried to get him into court. They've tried to say that he's corrupt. They've tried to say this, that, and the other. They've tried saying Mar-a-Lago's only worth 18 million quid. And he goes to the banks and says, can I borrow some money? And the banks go, yeah, all right. So he borrows the money, pays all the money back, pays all the interest back. And then the New York judge goes, yeah, that's corrupt. And everybody's shaking their head going, what? Yeah, so he's corrupt. That's New York. So $354 million, Donald, cough. And then a couple of days later, they've obviously worked out that they need to get it close to $500 million, because they're trying to work out how much money Donald's got. And they've gone, come back in. Donald, 354 million to start, and then interest of 100 million. So that's plus interest, plus everything. It's nearly $500 million in cash. So they're trying to bankrupt him every which way. Try to get him in jail, didn't work. Try to impeach him, didn't work. Try to bankrupt him, didn't work. I wish no ill on anyone. As Rich says, they've thrown everything at him, now it sticks. Just don't go to Dallas, Donald. Because they don't like it, CIA. If you're mucking about with the deep state, if you're mucking about with the military-industrial complex and they can't sell their arms and armaments to Zelensky and his marching powder. Hi, Vladimir. You'll be invading Poland next. And they're all Nazis in Ukraine. Far right, blimey. And in the Middle East, they're flogging billions and billions of dollars worth of stuff. I mean, I don't know whether this is they're getting so much into the Middle East and so much into Ukraine because the House of Representatives have stopped them and gone, that's 60 billion you want to give to Ukraine. What's it for? Oh, it's just a loan. What do you mean it's just a loan? Well, we'll give them a loan, they'll give us the money back. They will never get the money back from them. What are you giving them the money for? Arms. Are they going to buy the arms from us? Well, yeah. And who's getting the kickback? OCG Biden. Is it on Hunter's laptop? So I don't know whether they're trying to get these deals in before November when they elect a new president, whomever that may be. And then he takes office in January. Oh, can you imagine? I mean, we are watching the most fabulous time in history. It's not the Great Awakening. No, sorry, it's not the Great Reset. This is the Great Awakening. Everybody is beginning to see through, 10% kickback, 10% Joe. But again, deniability. He won't touch a penny. It'll be his family. Because we know that there have been calls from Beijing into Joe Biden's house. We know that they've received calls from the Chinese. It's a Manchurian candidate. What is a Manchurian candidate? Manchurian candidate is just somebody that operates for a foreign power, not for the power he's been elected to. So there's Joe Biden, President Biden. Is he a Manchurian candidate on behalf of the Russians or on behalf of the Chinese? Whoever gives them the most money. I mean, all this guff about, we're going to start fighting. Yeah, Vladimir Putin, he says he's going to bomb us. He's going to nuclear bomb us. That's not what I heard in that conversation with Tucker Carlson. So let me get to what is going on with the Russian peace deal. Let me tell you this. Now, the Russian peace deal was offered, and it was dated the 15th of April, 2022. Almost 2 years ago. So the second anniversary was a few days ago. So it was a couple of weeks into the war when it kicked off. So this was the 15th of April, 2022. And it's the Wall Street Journal that's published the original Russian peace deal. Remember this? Wall Street Journal. It's been printed. It's out there. And the deal was that there was negotiators on both sides trying to come to some sort of compromise. And what Russia wanted, and I quote, they wanted Ukraine to turn Ukraine into a permanently neutral state that doesn't participate in military blocs. You know what that is, don't you? This is a direct quote. I'm quoting. You know what that is, don't you? UN. They don't want Ukraine as part of NATO. They want to bar the country from rebuilding its military with Western support and leave Crimea under de facto Russian control. Now remember, I told you that this is not about Ukraine. This is about the gas and oil under the Black Sea, of which Crimea has access. So the Russians are making sure that they are going to be energy rich for the next 300 or 400 years. So nobody can touch them. When the Americans admit that they blew up the Nord Stream pipeline and then say, oh, by the way, the Brits, your utility bills are going to go up. Now, NATO are meeting this July. It's very important that you keep an eye on that meeting because we don't know what's going to come of it. But Russia wanted to limit Ukrainian armed forces and they wanted Crimea. They don't want anything else. They want peace. Russia wants peace. So all Russia wanted to do was block Ukraine using any foreign arms whatsoever. They don't want America supplying them. They don't want the Brits supplying them. They don't want French supplying or anybody supplying them. They want Ukraine to be peaceable with Russia. And they want Crimea to be Russian. They want certain parts of Crimea and some Ukrainians to speak Russian. And very importantly, and I am quoting, Crimea to be recognized as Russian by Kiev, Ukraine's capital. So as I said to you last week, for gas and oil, there's trillions of cubic meters of gas and billions of barrels of oil under Crimea in the Black Sea. And that's all Russia wants. But obviously, Bojo the clown goes in and says, Zelensky, here's another bag. What do you mean, what's that? Flour. And Bojo says to Volodymyr Zelensky, no, don't give in, keep fighting. No, keep fighting. Now, I don't know whether he was trying to get the arms and the armaments, which he thinks is more profitable than the oil and the gas, oil and gas long term. And Ukraine wanted to restore and Russia wanted Ukraine to restore its constitutionally neutral status. This is all in the Wall Street Journal. Russia would withdraw from all territory it had entered since the beginning of the special operation. Now, this is 15th of April, 2022. Literally a month, if that, 6 weeks. The fighting had gone on, and Russia was saying, we will retreat, we will withdraw from all territory, we want Ukraine to restore its constitutionally neutral status, and we want Crimea to be recognized by Kiev. And they've had 2 years of war. They've lost over 500,000 men. There's a generation of men that will disappear. Ukraine's never going to recover from it. And Russia wanted all of this to be guaranteed by the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council: China, USA, France, UK, and Russia. And Boris Johnson visited on behalf of America. Oh, I wonder why. And blocked the peace deal, convinced Zelensky and Ukraine to keep fighting. So now we know. Now we know that the Western media, and you're believing the Western media? What is going on in there? They've lied to you for 3 bloody years. They told you in March 2020, look at what's coming out via Andrew Bridgen and some of the other whistleblowers that are talking about. Where's all the cancers, the turbo cancers coming from? What about the excess deaths? What about the lies that they gave to you for 4 years now? And you're believing the shite that they're printing about what's going on in Ukraine? And I'm telling you the truth. They won't allow me to keep telling you this. You need to start telling your mates. Please, tell your friends about this channel. I've already told you about the Ben Gurion Canal. There's a video up here. Just go searching for it. Ben Gurion Canal. I've already told you what Israel's up to. I've already told you what's going on in Gaza. It's all the gas and oil under the East Mediterranean, the Ben Gurion Canal. Why do you think they're fighting the bloody Houthis? Because they're making it up. They want security in the Red Sea so that shipping can come through the Red Sea and then divert a right up through Israel, through this Ben Gurion Canal. And why is Netanyahu sitting there getting away with all this? Because he's evil. The Jewish people don't even like him. They were demonstrating in Israel in October, before it kicked off at the end of September, beginning of October, before the attack on October the 7th. He was done. And you know what? I believe Netanyahu will never ever get rid of. He's not Ben Gurion. It's like Harry. He's the spare. He's never going to be the Prince of Wales. He's never going to be the king. Ben Gurion is never, sorry, Bibi Netanyahu is never going to be Ben Gurion. And I think that eats away at him until his dying day. Who's he going to be? And that's why when he's a war president, when he's the head during the war, he can't be taken to court. Now, you just watch. They'll try and keep this going as long as possible. But because we know what it is, we know what the end game is, we can just sit here and watch them. They can say anything they want. We know where it's going. Same in Ukraine. They can say anything they want in the press. Don't bloody believe them. They're liars. The politicians, they're liars. They're all liars. All of them. They're all corrupt. They're all lies. You've got let's get on to Talk TV and GB News, because there's Murdoch. Is it the son, Lachlan? The Murdoch that's just taken over from his dad. His dad's kind of like he's in his holiday home in America somewhere. They're running at such a loss. They are hemorrhaging hundreds of millions of pounds. That's what's going on. The Sun's losing about £50 million a year. Why do you think they've gone to sort of showbiz news? To try and keep you entertained. Keep you dim. Tell that grey matter. Oh, Big Brother's underneath. Oh, yeah, X Factor. Not be long. Foxtrot Oscar. The wise and the stupid. That's what they think we are. Acronym. Work it out yourself. What can we do as a solution? What you can do is you can observe. Just sit there and observe. Because if you know they're lying, you can see their lies. I've given you enough information for you to see geopolitically what is going on in the world. You're not getting this anywhere else on YouTube because people are scared. They won't give you the truth. Keep the people dumb, as you say, Rich. But people don't, they're scared. When people are scared, they just want to kowtow to the man. I don't give a flying. What are they going to do? I'm a fractal of the ineffable, experiencing itself as consciousness. I'll leave that with you. When I go, I'm going back to the source. And I'll sit there on my cloud with my wings and my halo, because I'll get a halo after the work I've done. I'll sit there playing my harp going, oh, well, didn't realise what I was telling them. And you can see what's going on. Now, I can't predict this black swan event because Biden could stay as president because there's a war going on. So Donald might not actually get into power if the black swan event is sufficiently large. Just observe. You know what's going on in the Middle East. You know what's going on in Ukraine. You know what Putin's up to because he's told you the truth. He had no reason to lie. He gave the signals during the interview, taking his watch off. Countdown. Not with Carol Vorderman, obviously. So you know what's going on. Let's talk about Talk TV, and because I was going to be sidetracked. Let's Talk TV and GB News. Now, GB News is losing a lot of money. So I'm going to give you my take. As long as I get me notes, because I do not want to get this wrong. So some people are waiting for Dan Wootton, because Dan Wootton's been exonerated. They're waiting for Dan Wootton to come back and destroy GB News. Is he going to do that? No. Because there would be a serious night of long knives in public. They're not going to do that. But I hear today Talk TV are going to lose 100 jobs. There's going to be 100 jobs going at Talk TV. They're going back online. There's going to be pay cuts for presenters. So if you want to know how much a Talk TV presenter might get, Vanessa Feltz, £650,000 a year. And often, some quarter hours had no audience whatsoever for Vanessa Feltz. There are better broadcasters. You're listening to one. Would I go back? Depends on the detail. Would I get them an audience? Bigger audience than Vanessa Feltz, and she's on, so I'm told, 650 grand a year. Now, if you've got a great agent or you know the game, good on you. Now remember, GB News, let's take it from Talk TV to GB News. GB News had Dan Wootton, Mark Steen, Calvin Robinson, Lawrence Fox, and GB News let them go. The favourite and biggest, and the biggest draw, some may say, to GB News. Now, if you look at Neil Oliver and Nigel Farage, they're next in the crosshairs. Neil Oliver, he's going to be pre-recorded because they don't want him saying anything that might get them in front of Ofcom again. They don't want Neil Oliver to say anything that's contentious that they can't defend. So a bit like, mind you, the BBC, when Russell Brand did that silly call and it was all pre-recorded and they thought it was funny. So they may try and stop Neil Oliver and his monologues at the beginning of his shows. They may need to see what he's going to talk about. So everything will be through a filter. There will be no free speech as you may think of it. And Nigel Farage, I mean, I'm not quite sure what Nigel's doing, to be fair. He's either a broadcaster, he's not really a politician. He's trying to become an MP and hasn't. He's not going to stand at the general election. So I don't know whether he's made so much money now that he just does GB News for pin money. But GB News has a debt of £70+ million. And I can guarantee you that knees will be starting to shake unless they can be bankrolled for hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds. I've told you my experience with Mohammed Al Fayed. Mohammed Al Fayed was in this firestorm with the royal family. He wanted to get a British passport. He wanted to be British. Now, context, Mohammed Al is only ever given to royalty. Mohammed Fayed, he always wanted to be royalty. So he was in a firestorm, a real shitstorm with Harrods, trying to buy Harrods from Tiny Rowlands, and managed to buy it. And then if you looked at the crests on the side of Harrods, it were the royal crests. And all Mohammed Al Fayed wanted to be was British. He wanted to be naturalised. He gave enough money in taxes. He paid his taxes every year. He gave money to charitable organisations, but they wouldn't allow him a passport. It's all he ever wanted. So he had very, very, very deep pockets. And as I say, the radio station that I was running on behalf, part of the management team that was running his radio station, Liberty 963, when I walked through the door, it was costing him £11 million a year, a radio station on AM in London. But it was the usual media whores that were all kind of taking money out of that particular system. And we sat down and worked out who we could afford and who we could not afford. And we had to almost cut the operating costs in half. And we got it down to about 6. And Mr. Fayed, to give him credit, was very happy with that. But some of the big names that were there at the time had to go, had to leave. So a debt of £70 million, I understand that the people that own it are Saudis currently. So unless they've got very, very, very deep pockets, it's a bit of a wobbly time for GB News. But the establishment want rid of it. They want rid of it because it's upsetting the political classes. Talk TV, not so much, but now you know why Piers Morgan left. Walked out. I'm going to start my own channel like Tucker Carlson. And Dan Wootton's looking at it because he believes he's got enough pull and a big enough audience to go and do a Tucker Carlson on his own channel. Is it Dan Wootton unauthorized? So we have very interesting times. The BBC. I mean, I was going to do something about the BBC. Let me very quickly tell you about this because maybe you're not aware of this. But the new BBC chairman, Samir Shah, started his new role as chairman of the BBC Monday just gone, 2 days ago. Now, he sent out, I don't know whether it's a letter or an email. My source says an email. But the BBC has to be more representative. None of this wokery BS, more representative. All of us pay, so all of us have to be represented. So this is everybody in the BBC's been told this. Got to go more working class. Oh, can you imagine all the Oxbridge ne'er-do-wells in the BBC? Oh, what tie's that, Adrian? It's not one you would know. Oh, which school did you go to? Comprehensive, mate. Told you before, I had a 2-hour interview with one guy. So, which school did you go to, Adrian? One with teachers in it. And which school did your dad go to? Well, he didn't much. He left school at 14 and went sailing the Seven Seas for most of his life. Oh. Yeah, rum, bum and backy, mate. So, I didn't get the job, obviously, but he was just wasting time. It's like some people, you know, on a Friday, they'll organise their diary up until about 12 o'clock and they'll keep going as long as they can to get to 1 o'clock and then they'll feck off home. Oh, Friday, never a full day Friday. It's like a 3-day weekend, slaggers. So the BBC are going to have to make the BBC more representative because the chairman, Samir Shah, has told them. We must, let me read this, my eyes are not great now. We must be the home for showcasing the full range, and I'm quoting, the full range of British culture and talent in terms of class and its diversity. Working class folk, not middle class prats. My words, applicable. Now, Ofcom blasted the BBC in December for stereotyping the working class as criminals, thickos, drunks and druggies. That's the BBC's take on the working classes. Bar stewards. So, if I could ask the BBC one thing, please, get rid of Michael McIntyre. He makes my sphincter ache. He's about as funny as piles. Please. I can't take it. I'd rather stab my eyes out than watch him. That middle-class wokery. Now, I'm not suggesting it's wall-to-wall Mrs. Brown's boys, but there are certain things that, I mean, Michael McIntyre, I would chuck myself off a bloody building than watch him on TV. Sorry, Michael, it's just my view, my personal opinion. I'm allowed it. You have the right of reply. If you want to come on for an interview, happy to do it for you, mate. But real life, I mean, there are, I've told you that where this channel is going to go, and I know this for sure because I've done phone-ins for 40 years, all across the UK, from Scotland to South Wales, all the way down, LBC all the way up. So I know that you knock on any door, you'll get an amazing story. Every door. And that's what the BBC needs to represent. I mean, I think BBC News is going to have to be a special case and just move to one side and wrapped in cotton wool. But not the propaganda arm. And that's why the government give them all the money, because the BBC's their propaganda arm. So I'll make a little prediction for you. This should be real life in all of its glory. Me, you, the working classes in all of its glory. The all fur coat and no knickers mob, they're not, what stories are they going to tell? Unless it's Princess Margaret with John Bindon and 8 half-pint glasses. You know heard that story? Seemingly John Bindon was so well hung, Princess Margaret used to love it. And when he got a little excited, John Bindon could put 8 half pint glasses. And he's upstanding member of the community. Never heard that one? You'll have never heard the Prince Andrew's porches either. So it should be, real life. Real life and drama and classy stuff. Because the BBC do that very well. And I'll make a prediction for you. Because we have youngsters now that don't know what CBeebies are. They don't know what the younger programming is from the BBC for them. Know what YouTube is. They know what the social medias are. They know how to access YouTube and what's for them. I mean, if you ever want anything fixing on your computer, just ask the kids. They're whizzes. They're brilliant. So I can't see the BBC's CBeebies lasting any more than maybe 18 months, 2 years. So that also brings into question one of the great British institutions, Blue Peter. Now, they've got rid of the channel. Where would they bring Blue Peter back to? We haven't got the broom cupboard anymore. We haven't got a very close friend of mine, very good, dear, close friend of mine, who used to present in the broom cupboard. That's never going to come back. So what's going to happen to Blue Peter? CBeebies, I predict, is going to be gone in a couple of years. That would be such a travesty. So it brings into question, why can't we have Question of Sport? Why can't we have Top Gear brought back? It was never broke. It was for the wokerati. Oh, they hated it. Oh, the working class oiks. No. We want, what the upper classes want. As I say, they're all fur coat, no knickers and champagne half the time. But why can't we have Question of Sport? The workerati can go off. Foxtrot Oscar. Look at what happened to Steve Wright. He was the man and woman on the streets broadcaster. Yeah, live and kicking. Brilliant. So that's where we're going to go with the BBC. That's what's happening with Talk TV. That's what's happening with GB News. The certain classes of individual in this country want them gone, because it's upsetting their nice little trough of money. Because the political classes, I've told you before, if you go back in history, the people that controlled us were the priestly classes for 2,000 years from the Romans. What did the Roman Empire turn into? Catholic Church. So the churches were ruling. But then it got into 1500s, and then Henry VIII turned around and went, "Oi, Pope, feck off. I'm going to have my own church. I'm the king. I can do what I want. I'll have a Protestant church, not your, I want to marry a divorcee." And the church had to go, "All right, king." So for 2,000 years, they've tried to control us. You could only get to God through the priestly classes. Now we've got the political classes, and now you're waking up. How very dare you? How very dare you wake up and realise what they're doing and realise what's going on? It's not the Great Reset, it's a Great Awakening. Keep going. Keep the pressure on the metal. Keep going. Don't listen to them. See through them. So now the political classes can't even do anything. Oh, my word, what can we do with the oiks? Oh, give them more drugs. Yes, freeze alcohol. We're not going to put any more money on alcohol. We're not going to tax them anymore. Keep the oiks drunk and drugged. But the political classes are being controlled by the corporation classes, by the Bill Gates and the Microsoft and the all the big corporations and the social media corporations. That's why WEF is so successful. That's BlackRock owns the world. Well, there are a load of companies that ultimately become BlackRock if you look at the top of the pyramid. So just keep observing. Just keep the pressure on these bar stewards. Let's have them running back under the rocks. Let's tell them We see you. We know what you're doing. We see right through you. We know what's happening in the Middle East. We know what's happening in Ukraine. And Bojo the Clown, he can foxtrot Oscar. Because we've seen through him. Who does he think he is? Levi Roots? In fact, he's got more kids than Levi Roots. And Levi Roots has got 8 by 7 women. Was that all at one party? And Boris, blimey, a couple of house bricks. The missus needs to take him to him. Let's see if he jogs home after that. I could go on, and you know that for sure. But I think that £1 billion in reparations. No, they'll only give them 100 million. The church, they don't like. So I've now got I've got a joke going around in my head, and I'm not sure I can tell you this, but this is not monetized. Might get me banned. No, I can't. No, I can't. I can't. There's absolutely no way I can do it. If it's my last show, if I win the lottery at the weekend and I come into a few bob, I will tell the gag. I promise you, I won't hold it back. But it's got something to do with the choir boy and priest. No, I can't. No, I will get a strike. So the next live is a week tonight. Sunday, which is always very popular, is going to be something else at 8 o'clock. I've decided not to move the time or to move the day, but I will do something on Sunday. I've got a few ideas. I'm not going to tell you what they are. You're going to have to be there for the premiere at 8 o'clock on Sunday. It is Mothering Sunday. If yours are still around, look after her and make sure she knows that she's loved. Mine's not. And you will always miss your mum unless she's an utter idiot. So I'm just going to take a bit of time on Sunday just to let her know. And my mum-in-law, she'll get the same. We'll look after her and we'll make her smile. And look after yourself. Be well and look after yourself. Brilliant. Andrew James. My mother went to the shops and never came back. I think she went with Kevin the milkman. It was always one of those stories. We'd say to me, Dad, where's my mum? Oh, she's run off with the milkman. And you know, there might have been an element of truth in there. So be well, Battenbergers. Be lucky. If you win anything on the lottery weekend, the weekend, we'll go halves. And that's it for tonight's live. I'll see you live next Wednesday. More videos coming tomorrow. We've already got them edited. They will be coming tomorrow. More ranty bollocks coming. Also, Bad Wolf Project. You've absolutely got the strap line. Yeah, 2 Mars bars. So you've now got the tagline for the gag. Priest and choir boy. Make your own gags up and you won't be far away. Maybe that's the only way we get around the censor. And I need to go and have a lie down. Have a wonderful few days. And something coming on Sunday. Next live, next Wednesday. More videos tomorrow. My name's Adrian Allen. Thank you for your likes. Make sure this... we haven't even... Look, we've got 139 people watching and we're only 86. How weird, man. Smash the likes before I go. Thank you for your subscriptions. Please make sure that you are subscribed. Always. Because I'm getting messages from people saying, oh, Adrian, I've been unsubscribed. It's got nothing to do with me. I don't touch anything. I just leave everything alone. I'm not a technophobe, but I'm as close to a technophobe as you're going to get without being a technophobe. And thank you for your indulgence. I always appreciate it. And all your messages. And in the words of the great Chinese philosopher, don't forget the Battenberg.